Hello, good morning. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Vinny Motiwala, with me Cheryl D'Souza as well. Cheryl, a very good morning. Do I start picking up trends from your color clothes? Firstly, it's that. I think you should only wear green because it started in the green and then we started seeing a bit of a fall coming in for the markets.
But that's not the way how it always works, you know, Vinny. Actually, right now, see, there's a recovery on the screen, so you can't basically blame my color for the markets turning negative, isn't it? Because the growth story is very much intact when you talk about the Indian markets, and that definitely did get a tad bit of blip last week. But from there on, look at this, we are just scaling fresh new highs each day. Today you had the Sensex that scaled past 77,000 for the first time ever. You had Nifty as well that scaled past that 23,400 mark for the first time ever. So yes, market strength continues, no doubt. Time and again you will see some sort of a weakness creeping in, and that's what exactly happened after the markets opened. We saw about 150 points downtick come in for the benchmark indices, and there you can see in the broad markets also mirroring that sort of a downtick coming in for the markets. From there on, now we are just trying to hold on to gain, build on to gains for some of the indices. Small cap index at the day's highest point as we speak. But let's take a look at what exactly the IT stocks are doing, because they are a sore point in today's trading session. Be it the Infosys, TCS, Tech Mahindra, all of them are declining in trade today. LTI Mindtree as well seeing a sharp cut. So talking about that, the top 6 losers on the Nifty today are from the IT pack, with Tech Mahindra leading the losses for the Nifty at this point in time. But on the flip side, you have Power Grid, Ultratech Cement, Hero MotoCorp, Grasim as well as Cipla that are among the gaining side. The market breadth for now is still tilted in the favor of gainers. Talking about the sectoral indices, yes, needless to say that the IT index is the top sectoral loser, and that is the only sectoral loser at this point in time, with energy, power, PSU Bank all holding on to strong gains at this point in time. But yes, one cannot take eyes off what is exactly happening in the consumption sector as a whole, isn't it, Vinny?
Absolutely, you cannot take your eyes off. And given that, you know, after the government, the focus may become more populist, what is their strategy? That is what one is watching out for. And even seems like, you know, what analysts are also highlighting, that ND may actually propose easing some liquor restrictions. This is in Andhra Pradesh. Now, what actually happens, that we'll wait out for. But we did talk to Madhu Kela, market veteran, in terms of what's his bet on the liquor stocks. Where does he see this sector actually moving going forward, and how much of a growth potential does he see here? Let's go across and listen into it.
There is no reason why liquor industry will not be as vibrant in India as it is there in China. We have more people as compared with China now, younger population, who will look to consume liquor once our per capita income increases. We have seen in lot of other sectors, in lot of other places, that you know, this liquor consumption has increased, and hence there has been birth of many valuable companies. I've been investor in Radico for a long time. You have seen what a fabulous journey this company has had in last 17-18 years. You know, they were selling whiskey at 500 rupees a bottle. Now they sold, the same company has sold a whiskey at 5 lakh rupees a bottle. Right? They sold 400 cases few months back at 5 lakh rupees a bottle, and the brand is globally recognized now. If you are able to build a brand, then you make serious money in this sector, and that is what is being proven by Pernod Ricard, by Diageo worldwide. If you look at their brand, they are selling, you know, one bottle of 750 grams at, you know, 25,000, 30,000, 40,000 rupees.
All right, so that is a veteran market investor, Madhusudan Kela's view coming in on the liquor counters. It's in the consumption pack as a whole. But let's take a look at what the rest of the other market pockets actually doing at this point in time. Winnie, yes, you have the IT sector that's under pressure, but there are a couple of stocks that are moving in trade on back of news flow. You have JSW Energy that's perked up in trade today. In fact, today also you have some of the counters like Paytm that is buzzing in trade. You also have candidates like Titagarh Rail, Natco Pharma, all of them buzzing in trade. Remember that there's been a SEBI white paper that had been launched, and there's a consultation paper. So analysts are expecting some of these counters may be included in FNO, and there could be a reason why they will have positive impact.
Absolutely, and a lot of other individual movers, you know, maybe we're seeing something like a Sanofi India 8-9% uptick there right now. Look at the chart also. We have Motilal Oswal, Titagarh Rail, all these surely are buzzing in trade. GIC, Raymond, all of them managing to hold on to very, very strong gains as of now. So surely we will be keeping an eye out on all these names. But we do have, and let's actually, I think we'll get started with all the stock related queries that you all have. And for right now, we are joined by Mr. Chokkalingam. Very good morning. Thank you so much for joining in with us this morning on ET Now. And obviously, viewers, if you don't know, you can start sending us your queries on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on the screen there. Do send us your name, the stock, the price that you bought it at. So it is better for us to address the query. So let's get started with the first query that we have for today. And Mr. Chokkalingam, this first query that we have today is coming in from on VIP Industries. So the viewer is from Chennai, Ravi Chandran, who wants to know, given that we are seeing an uptick in overall the domestic travel, how is it looking like fundamentally VIP Industries? Is it attractive? Because we've clearly seen that, it's not picking up pace with the travel industry picking up pace.
Yeah, it looks like the competition from unorganized sector has increased and also from the formal sector, because if you look at the March quarter, it has shown losses. And for the full year, it has shown some just around 2 rupee EPS, which means it's almost trading at around over 200 PE. So basically, I am little conservative. I am not comfortable at all. In the last 3 years, it has lost growth momentum in the business, and also there is a margin pressure. So therefore, I believe it's a good sell at the current price.
So that's the take coming in on VIP Industries. And very good morning to you, Mr. Chokkalingam. Good morning to you as well, Kunal. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And the query, this one is coming in from your namesake, that is Kunal. He is from Kalyan and he's a 23-year-old student and a professional cricketer is what he's mentioned. His question is that on Birlasoft, 20 shares which he purchased at 470 rupees per share. He's saying he's currently in profit in this counter. Is it the right time to look ahead to exit, or should he wait for the stock to reach at least 700 rupees per share? What's your take coming in on this one, Kunal? And also, it's very heartening to note that you have people who are now taking investment decisions much earlier in their age, isn't it?
Absolutely. Good morning to you, and just few years younger to me, I think in that sense. So
happy Monday.
Yeah, Kunal is really too excited about the Monday. He's got a new renewed self, I believe.
But it's good actually.
Yeah, it's very good. I think it's very heartening to see just at such an early age he's starting to look to invest. And I think he's picked up the right set of stocks. I would probably believe at least the first one looks to be right set. Birlasoft is something which is looking attractive. In fact, it's one of the better performing mid-cap IT names. I understand that the mid-cap IT stocks are going through one of the tough times, in fact the entire IT sector, but I think it could just be a matter of time that these IT stocks may also see a very strong revival. I think it could just be a few quarters away for many of these large cap IT names, and the markets could start pricing in much earlier the kind of potential up move which we can expect for many of these IT stocks. So I think it's a good name. I would suggest to hold. If you're looking to buy, in fact add further, then I would believe that maybe closer to that 620 odd mark would be a good support point for Birlasoft.
Okay. Moving on to the next query. This is from Satya Veni, and Mr. Chokkalingam, Satya wants to know in terms of a stock that they can buy in the auto sector right now, as well as L&T. Is it looking attractive to enter L&T right now, as well as any name in the auto sector that you could suggest?
Certainly, L&T is a good buy after recent corrections. I am sure the present government also will focus on capital expenditure, and 2 lakh crore dividend from RBI as well as a robust growth of GST would help the government to continue to accelerate the capital expenditure in the system. So therefore, it's a big positive for L&T. And you can consider Sterling Tools. It's a play on auto company. It has a subsidiary which is focused on component for EV industry, and that subsidiary has done phenomenally well in FY24. So it's a big play on EV theme, emerging EV theme. And also in the existing fastener business, they are taking a lot of effort to improve the productivity and margin. So therefore, I would consider Sterling Tool as the best stocks in the auto space within small and mid caps segment.
Alright, this one has come from Narveer, who's writing to us from Hyderabad. Kunal, ITC is a stock that he's purchased at levels of 435 rupees per share, about 1,000 shares of ITC. For the short term, he wants to know whether he should stay put with this, and is there any scope of ITC surpassing 500 rupees per share mark?
I think the probability is very high, and given the fact that the stock has already gone through a 9-month or a 10-month correction, 10-12-month correction, I think August or September 2023 is where the stock topped out or made a top at 496 500 mark, and from there it went to a 20% odd correction. So 20% for large cap names, and that too for low beta stocks like ITC, I think is a good enough number to look out for. Now that the stock has completed those correction, there are two things which are happening for the stock. One, on the daily time frame, the stock is attempting the 200-day moving average breakout for the third time in the last 2 months, which means that sooner or later the stock would eventually get into a breakout above this 200 DMA given the sector buoyancy for ITC as well. And the second, the most important part is on the weekly charts, the indicators have started to get back into from a negative or a bearish territory to neutral to positive territory for ITC. So that could also add up very well for the stock with the near to medium term. So I would suggest a buy on ITC at current levels, and my sense is that the stock should come back to that 500 mark potentially in the next 12 to 18 months.
500 mark is something that we are watching out for ITC now, 12 to 18 months. But Mr. Chokkalingam, we have Venkati from Visakhapatnam, who's a long-term investor. They're holding Rainbow Children Hospital at 100 shares at a price of 1,498. What should they be doing currently? Maybe they're making a loss here, obviously. So should they average or continue to hold it?
I would not suggest averaging. One can hold Rainbow. Most of the hospital stocks are trading at exorbitant valuation. Some are even trading at 5 to 8 crore per bed. So I would suggest just hold, and if you recover, you can sell the stock.
Shashank, Kunal already spoke about ITC, but Shashank wants to know at current market price which FMCG stock would be a good bet, Mr. Chokkalingam, to take for a period of the next 5 years. Will it be ITC, HUL or Nestle, or all three of them do you think make sense to stay invested right now for the next 5 years?
ITC. In fact, one can go after ITC solely instead of buying all these three stocks you have mentioned. In fact, we did some working. We looked at the water stocks valued on the market, Indian Hotel and EAH Limited. They are trading anywhere around 10 to 12 times profit before tax. 50 up to 50 times the enterprise value to profit before tax, and 10 to 12 times enterprise value to sales. If I apply the same rationale for ITC Hotel, that stock deserves even up to 167 rupees. So I'm not projecting that 167, but I'm pretty confident that ITC, as and when demerge the hotel and list the stock, shareholder can get even up to 145, 150 rupees. That would be a great opportunity, and also all other segments also would improve, like agri and paper going forward. So I believe that ITC is the safest and most promising FMCG stock in the large cap space.
On that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Viewers, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of your stock-related queries after the break. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's keep it going with all your stock-related queries. Kunal, this next query is for you. We have Beni, who's a senior citizen from Hyderabad. They're holding HDFC Life, 500 shares at a price of around 709, clearly making a loss. And they've been waiting for a long time for their price to come back. Should they continue to wait more, or is it time to maybe just book out profits?
I think you should continue to hold on. Now I understand that HDFC Life and many of the insurance stocks have not performed, but then these are high pedigree names. And whenever the cycle turns for the insurance stocks, insurance sector as such, I would probably believe that these stocks can make a very strong comeback. So I think having a high pedigree stock is always a must in your portfolio. And I'm assuming that it may be a part of your overall portfolio where you will be having a lot of large cap names. So I think if it's if it falls in that kind of a category, I would definitely suggest a hold on HDFC Life. And the moment the stock breaks out, so I think the breakout point for HDFC Life is around the 630 mark. It's still 7-8% or 9% away from those breakout levels. Whenever that 630 level gets taken out, I would believe that the stock should restart a strong momentum for itself.
Okay. keep and hold on to HDFC Life. That's the word coming in from Kunal. But Mr. Chokkalingam, this is just advice that someone wants. Mr. Sudhir from Kochi. Now, they are making profit currently on the overall portfolio of around 60% is what Sudhir has highlighted. They're a long-term investor. So as a long-term investor, is it the right time to add some bit more of a capital if they're looking to add fresh capital right now for the long term?
I would suggest wait for a couple of months. In fact, till the government, the cabinet is formed and they test out the majority in the parliament. I have no doubt on the present government continuing. But what my worry is that if you take a previous experience, there is always some news flow which always leads to volatility when the coalition government is formed. I'm extremely bullish that the medium to long term story is going to be extraordinarily good. And in fact, we have given it writing that the market cap can hit even $7 to $8 trillion in the next 4 years. But in the short term, the journey towards that kind of wealth creation would be accompanied by volatility with downward bias. So I would suggest 5 to 10% cash. That's my equity research strategy for our own clients. And whenever if there is any adverse news flow and market corrects, that can be used to add new cash rather than rushing to the market to add cash into the market aggressively at this juncture.
Right. Okay, that's the view coming in there. But Kunal, we have this next query from Safi from Andhra Pradesh on NTPC and ONGC. They're holding NTPC at 170 rupees and ONGC at 152 rupees. For the short term, should they continue to hold this or sell?
Well, it could be a bit tricky because I think both these stocks are, they form part of the PSU sector, and the PSU is something basket which you've seen that in this last 4 days or 4-5 days of bounce has underperformed the overall benchmark indices. So I think that could probably be an indication that maybe we could be looking at a zone where many of these stocks may just about flatten out or consolidate at current levels or maybe dip down to the previous swing lows for themselves. So you have to be a bit selective over here. My advice would be that to book partial profits over here at current levels, and in case if these stocks say provide an opportunity of correction where they come closer to their previous week lows or closer to their respective 200 moving averages, that could be a very good entry point or a re-entry point where you can look to buy back the stocks which you sell out or book partial profits over here.
Alright, Kunal, coming right back to you. The next query is coming in from Indu. She wants a technical view on Hindustan Copper. She's holding the stock with about a 20% gain at this point in time. She wants to know how the short term and the medium term outlook looks for Hindustan Copper, and also does it make sense for her to add some more or exit?
Well, I would not suggest to add some more, but you can just continue to hold on to the existing quantity, or again a very similar kind of a stance where you may look to book partial profits over here and look to buy back in case if the stock dips down to the 300 mark. Because my sense is that these stocks are facing some sort of hurdle in terms of the resistance zone for this time around. And the critical part for many of the stocks like Hindustan Copper also is that many of the indicators have come back into a slight or below the neutral territory for themselves. So which means that we could probably be at a zone where short-term rallies could get sold into. So I would suggest to book partial profits over here, and then if possible, and if in case the stock dips down to 300 mark, look to buy back again.
Okay, this next query is from Gautam from Mumbai. Mr. Chokkalingam, they want to know that would you recommend them to pick up AB Fashion and AB Capital for the time period of 1.5 to 2 years from now? Is it advisable?
AB Capital for long term may be okay. Still it is valuations are not stretched. But AB Fashion, I would consider as a great sell because last 4-5 years the company is not able to make any decent profit, and acquisition also they have done enormously. And unfortunately, 1 or 2 loss making acquisitions or low margin business also they have acquired. So I am very, very negative on AB Fashion. But AB Capital for a very long term, it's okay.
This one is coming in from Pawan, who's writing to us from Bangalore. Software engineer, 43 years of age. He's saying that he's sitting on a 28% loss on Wipro. He's purchased it at an average price of 655.4 rupees per share. He's a long-term investor, but since he's sitting with a loss on Wipro, he wants to know what should he do. So Kunal, let me come to you. Given the fact that he's sitting on a loss, wondering what should he do with Wipro, do you think there is any scope or the charts are reflecting that it may at least come anywhere close to his buy price?
So it may not happen immediately, but I think Wipro is a quality stock and high pedigree name. So I think in that sense, you should continue to hold on to the stock. Now, as I mentioned earlier for query, I think on Birlasoft, that many of these IT stocks are going through one of the tough times for themselves. But eventually, these sectors and these stocks would make a very strong comeback. I think it could just be a matter of few quarters from current levels. So I think it's a matter of holding on positions over here. Wipro, is something which I, specifically would look out for targets closer to 540, 550 over the near to medium term. So which means rather than selling at current levels, I think there should be better price points available to you, hopefully in the next 3 to 6 months itself.
Okay. Mr. Chokkalingam, we have Rajesh Menon from Bangalore who has a query on Nelco. They're holding 150 shares at a price of 784. Should they continue to hold this for the long term and maybe look to sell and get out of it? Nelco, not Nalco, Nelco, Nelco. Nelco is the stock that they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware of it. I have done an extensive study on Nelco also. I would give a sell call purely based on the valuation. I'm not comfortable at valuation at all.
Right, this one is coming in from a viewer, Sri Kishore Sharma, who's writing to us from Bihar, and he wants to know about Tata Motors 100 shares at a price of 949 rupees per share for a period of about 3 years. Does it make sense to stay put with this one? No doubt his buy price is a bit elevated, Mr. Chokkalingam, but Tata Motors, you believe that for the next 3 years also is a safe bet to be with?
It has played out very well. I am a little negative on auto sector, particularly the passenger vehicle and commercial vehicles. All of us know that still commercial vehicle segment is struggling, and of course SUV is the one which is helping, but that is in the price, I believe. Of course one can hold, but certainly if there is any 5%, 10% upside further, I think it is best to sell.
Sure. Let's move on to the next query. Kunal, this one is from Vishwanathan Nair from Cochin, and they want to know if they can book profit today specifically for Varroc Engineering. They're holding it at a price of 520 rupees per share. What is the view on Varroc Engineering?
So I'm assuming it's a swing trade which you are looking out for. The stock has come back towards I would say a minor resistance around the 602, 610 zone. But if it scales past about this level, then I would believe that the stock could move pretty much on the higher side from current levels. So I would probably suggest that either you can have a trailing stop loss or just wait out for today's closing. In case if the volumes rise up further and the stock scales past about the 610 mark, you could probably be at a point where the stock may give more higher returns. So I think today could be a critical day which you can watch out for. But if in case the stock closes at current levels of say 600 approximately, then it could be a good time where you can look to book profits.
Alright, this one is coming in from Guru. This one's for you, Mr. Chokkalingam. He wants to know about Indraprastha Medical Corporation. He's holding this shares at a price of around 100 rupees per share. He wants to know what's your outlook on this one. Should he stay put with this one or look to book profits now?
You can hold it still in terms of EV per bed, enterprise value per bed. It still has got attraction in related terms as compared to many other listed hospital stocks. So maybe around 280, one can say that could be the fair price.
Kunal, this query is on the technicals for Tata Motors. How is it looking like on the technical level? Ron from Mumbai wants to know the fundamental view was given by Mr. Chokkalingam a short while ago.
So I would be bullish on Tata Motors, but I would probably keep a near-term target of 1040, 1050 for the stock. That's where there are multiple resistances which have come back into the stock price. But if you're looking to look at this as a long-term play, then I would probably be looking at an advice, as a strategy of buy on dips. I think 900 to 920 is a huge support zone for the stock, and that's been tested I think 2-3 times in the last 1.5 odd month. So I think closer to that level is where you can look to buy. And you can also look to hold on to it from long-term play. But if you're looking at a swing kind of a time frame, then I would believe 1040 approximately could be a target which you can look out for.
Right. This next query is coming in from Reema, and before that, I will request my producer to fire the Heritage Foods at least 1 week line graph, because Kunal, she's asking a very tough question to you on Heritage Food. Reema wants to know, does it make sense to go ahead and look to buy Heritage Foods right now? Show 1 week chart. It will be a better way to gauge the way how the stock has performed. 73% in 7 days. I can see Vinny's reaction right next to me. Kunal, you also have a similar reaction. The 73%.
Kunal has more of a subtle face right now than my reaction. I was in shock. I
No,
didn't
because
expect.
I have recommended the other name, that's Amaraja Battery, and that's moved up on a very similar kind of
Similar
manner.
kind of trade, and also the fact that also this also is one of the election plays,
Correct.
and that's the reason why Heritage Foods, or for the matter of fact, Maharaja Batteries also has seen the up move. But do you think this is the right time to buy the stock?
So it depends on the risk, frankly. Now, if the viewer is looking to, I'm sensing that the viewer is looking at a high risk strategy over here. The good part about the stock is in the last 5 days so far is that the stock has made a higher low for itself. So it's not broken the previous day's swing low in the last 5 days, even after today's intraday correction for Heritage Foods, which means what you can do is maybe keep 2-day, 2-day prior swing low for the stock as a stop loss, and you can maybe look to buy the stock at current levels. But the question over here is that are you looking to play this as a short term play and then trying to just catch the high speed momentum? I think that's going to be the trickier part for Heritage Foods. So you'll have to define your risk appetite as well as your strategy quite well. Short term wise, you can look at a trade, maybe keep 2 days swing low as a stop loss, but I don't expect a high risk reward over here. Your risk reward would be 1:1 for the trade.
All right, don't expect high risk reward at this point in time for this one, given the fact that the stock has also seen a spectacular rally. But Mr. Chokkalingam, I'm tempted to ask you as well, based on fundamentals, what's your take coming in on Heritage Food for a long-term investment? Does it make sense to invest right now? 73% up move in the last 1 week, an election play counter. What's your take?
It's a good sell. People should use this opportunity to look at the fundamentals of Andhra-based stocks, and they should sell, because in fact, I've been recommending most of the Andhra-based stocks in the last 35 years, but I have not seen this kind of rally. In fact, we gave a sell call on KCP Limited a couple of days ago, and we read it today. Phenomenal return the investors have made. The only point I want to make it is that just because it is owned by a ruling party member and he comes back to power, it doesn't mean that the governments can write a check for companies. And it doesn't mean that they can become a monopoly. In fact, being in power, more monitoring and surveillance by everybody would be there. So it's a great opportunity to book profits. It's a great company, no doubt about it. But if it corrects, 15-20%, then one can buy. Otherwise, it's a good sell now.
Good sell now. That's the word even coming in from Mr. Chokkalingam. Good company, but already run up so much. So yes, keep an eye out on that. But let's move on then to the next query. I absolutely forgot that I have to take the next query looking at the numbers there. But the next query we have is from Bangalore, from Krishna, and they want to know on UTI AMC, Mr. Chokkalingam, as well as Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC. What is your word in terms of the AMCs for a 2-year period? Is it looking attractive?
Definitely. 2-3 year period one can hold. In fact, if they correct, one can buy, because the kind of people coming to capital market is really phenomenal. I don't know how many have noticed, even in this volatile market, last week, 10.5 lakh new retail investors have registered on the BSE platform into the capital market. So I think, apart from 7% GDP growth, another major structural change happening in the country is the tsunami of new investors coming in. And that obviously would favor AMC stocks in the long term. Of course, in the short term, they have fully priced in, but one can hold. If they show any significant correction, that could be a great opportunity to add.
All right, so that's the take coming in on ABSL AMC. But on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, we'll continue taking your query. Viewers, don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now. Just let's note the flashes on the bottom of your screen. Remember that you had the NDA 3.0 swearing yesterday. You had the Prime Minister along with his entire cabinet take oath in yesterday's ceremony, and we are all awaiting for that portfolio allocation. But for now, what we are picking up from the sources that the first cabinet meet will be held at 5 p.m. today, and there are a slew of measures that they will be planning to consider in that cabinet meeting. One is that they will likely look to expand the PM Awas Yojana scheme. they are going to mull on the construction of additional 2 crore houses. And also the cabinet is likely to take a call on the commencement of the parliament session. Remember that we are actually all set or waiting for that full budget to take place by the new government. But for that, firstly, we have to wait and be in the standby mode for knowing the allocations or the portfolio allocations, Vinny. So it looks like another day, another long day coming in for us.
Absolutely, another long day coming in for you, Cheryl. You were yesterday also waiting for these allocations. So yes, surely those are important updates that we'll wait out on the political front, and who is getting which ministry is key to watch out for. But let's keep it going with all your stock related queries then. And Kunal, this query we have is coming in from Jaya and from Bangalore. They want to know on BDL, that's Bharat Dynamics, as well as BEL. What is the view on these two stocks? Could they look to enter at the current market price?
Well, BEL could be a better bet at current levels at 285 levels. But again, I think I would probably suggest that keep your quantities a bit low. As I mentioned earlier, that many of the PSU stocks are not performing in the same gusto as what they were maybe in a few months back. So I think in that sense, you might probably be at a zone where many of these stocks may go into a minor rally, but a prolonged kind of a consolidation. So you can start nibbling at current levels. But I would suggest that on days when the PSU sector underperforms, and if these stocks correct by a margin of 5% frankly, from those swing high levels, I think that could be a good entry point for many of these names.
Alright, Kunal, I'm not sure if you tracked this one. Uniparts India, Poonam, who has written to us, and she wants to know about Uniparts. She has 577 shares, wants to know whether she should, she has the shares at a price of 577, wants to know stay put or look to exit.
I think you should look to exit the stock. It's been an underperforming name, still trading below the long-term averages, even at current levels of 512, 513 where it's trading right now, 200 DMA being at 560 approximately for the stock. As a replacement, I would probably suggest that you can look to buy few of the other, few names from the auto anch pack. I would recommend CIO India. I think that's a stock which is trading at 550 plus levels. That is something which is starting to look very attractive from a short to medium term basis. Motherson, Samvardhana Motherson is something which I've been recommending over the last 2-3 months. Still looks attractive at 155 plus mark.
Okay, the next query is on Bata India. We have Saji from Mumbai, Mr. Chokkalingam, who wants to know they bought Bata India at a price of 1,400 rupees. For the long term, what should they be doing with Bata India? Should they continue to hold this or maybe look to add some more? What's the view?
Yeah, you can hold on for long term because the price has already corrected. And in fact, in long term, it always comes back to solid growth quite frequently. So therefore, it's a hold for a long term.
Alright, this next one is coming in from Suchitra, who's writing to us from Bangalore. She's purchased 20 shares of Infra at a price of 222 rupees per share. Kunal, she's in the 10% loss in this counter. Is it better to exit at a loss or look to stay put and wait for it to actually come to her buy price?
I think you should continue to hold on, and if possible, you can even look to start adding to your quantity at levels, I think closer to 175, 180, 85 kind of a mark, because I think that's a very strong support territory. It also coincides with the 200-day moving average for the stock. So I think on both the aspects, the mean reversion or the major part of the mean reversion seems to be completed, and you might probably be at a point where the stock may eventually bottom out at this 180 odd zone. So that could be a good entry point.
Sure. The next one, Mr. Chokkalingam, this one is from Rohit, and they want to know on Som Distilleries for the long term, can they look to buy at the current price, as well as they're holding 100 shares of HDFC Life at 671. So can they look to average today that stock?
So Distilleries definitely trades at the elevated valuation, and I don't know the exact business model, but the valuation is stretched. And secondly, a lot of distillery companies are struggling in getting the dues from the government. But I must accept that I am not sure whether they sell through government or directly, but still valuation is stretched. So therefore, I would not suggest holding this stock. It would be a good sell. And HDFC Life, yes, it has been an underperformer. It may not excite young investors to make money, but definitely for our conservative investors, it's a good buy. Stock has corrected a lot and engaged in the growth business. And HDFC Life also continues to grow its business quite consistently. So therefore, it's a good buy at current price.
Okay, we do have the Amphi data also that's coming in. Overall inflows are at 1.10 lakh crores right now. What we're seeing versus the inflow last month was around 2.3 lakh crores. Equity inflows also at 34,697 crores versus 18,917. We're waiting out for more of the data that will come in. But keeping it going right now with the queries, then Kunal, this one is from the query is coming in from a viewer who wants to know on IFCI. They bought it at 24 rupees. What should they do? Continue to hold this or maybe look to exit the stock? As well as they want to know Sterling and Wilson, can they enter right now? It's from Tina.
So, Sterling and Wilson, I don't track, so I'll probably skip that. But I think IFCI, I would probably believe it's a very good hold at current levels. My sense is that the stock on the monthly and the quarterly charts is looking extremely attractive. It's a high beta name, so you have to be ready for a 10-15% kind of swing anytime the stock provides, if in case there is any kind of a correction into the stock. So I'm assuming that you already have that kind of know-how in the sense for IFCI. But I believe that the stock on the long-term charts looks very attractive. So give it some more time. I would believe if the patterns play out for the stock over what has been playing out over the last few quarters, then I would believe that the stock has much more significant upside potential in the time span of at least 1 to 2 years.
Kunal, the next query is coming from Suresh Nair, writing to us from Cochin. Ratan Power India is a counter that he has. He's saying the stock is on a decline over the past few trading session. However, he is sitting with a profit of about 20% or so. Should he continue to hold or look to exit?
See, I think I had mentioned, on the stock, I think few days back when it was an upper circuit, when the stock was moving towards 1920 mark, and I had mentioned that not to try and venture into these names because they may look attractive on the way up when they are going and hitting upper circuits, but it becomes very difficult to exit these stocks on the way down when these stocks hit lower circuits for themselves. So I think it's the third consecutive day, if I'm not wrong, of lower circuit for Ratan Power. I would believe that if you're sitting on 20% plus profits, it's a good time to book out profits over here and then move on to formidable large cap names.
Right. Kunal, this one more query is coming in from Gurpreet, and they want to know in terms of LTI Mindtree, they have it at a price of 5,400. What should they be doing with this? Continue to hold or sell?
I think you should definitely look to hold on to the stock and not to sell, because the stock, for the first time in the last, 4-5 months or so, June, July, or rather the December, January highs, when the stock was at 6,200 plus mark, for the first time it's showing indicator breakouts, parabolic sub breakouts on the weekly charts. And after last week price up move for these IT stocks, where we saw a slew of short covering as well as long built up for many of the large cap IT names, I think we could be at a point where over the next 2 to 3 weeks you may see a follow up move for many of these IT names. So I would suggest a hold.
All right, Karthik from Bangalore wants to know, Mr. Chokkalingam, out of Karur Vysya Bank and IDFC First Bank, which one do you think is a good bet to take for the longer term? And do you think now is the right time to enter both of these, either of the counters which you suggest?
Studied all these banks, comparatively. I have a bias, before investors take my research suggestion, they should know that we have personally invested in Karnataka Bank through family account and economics account. I believe in the story of Karnataka Bank, which is far superior to IDFC First Bank and Karur Vysya Bank in terms of price to adjusted book value. And perhaps this is the only bank trading at more than 10% discount to adjusted book value. That is Karnataka Bank. So I would prefer Karnataka Bank to Karur Vysya and IDFC. And also, the institutional holding in Karnataka Bank has increased to around 42%, which is too good for improving the corporate governance, where the bank has promoter stake as 0. And secondly, the bank has given, through QIP and placement, and mobilized 1,500 crore. The price ranges from 225 to almost around 265, which is again a big positive. So therefore, I have a bias for Karnataka Bank fundamentally, but still investors should know the fact that we have invested personally.
All right, so that's the view coming on the banks, but particularly coming in for Karnataka Bank. That's Mr. Chokkalingam's view coming in on that particular.
Political updates that will still keep calling in, so we are keeping an eye on that. But with that, let's just slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of the stock-related queries after the break. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now. Let's keep it going with all your stock-related queries. This query is from Karishma from Delhi. And Kunal, this one is for you. It's on Hindustan Copper, SJVN. They want to know if they should continue to hold or maybe look to sell this. They've not mentioned the buy price of any of these.
Well, you can consider to hold on. Depends on your price or your entry price. I'm assuming if you're sitting on good profits, by that I mean at least 20-25% kind of profits or more than that, then I think you could probably look to book partial profits over here. But if you bought very recently and you're looking to just about try to get back into a break even, then I would believe that wait out for some more time, because I believe that the stocks may give one more leg of rally on the upside, try to come back to their respective 50-day moving averages before there is maybe a second round of correction which could come back into these names. So it depends on your entry price and your cost price into these stocks.
Alright, this next query is coming in from Shantanu, who's writing to us from Ranchi. He wants to know about Bank of Maharashtra, Mr. Chokkalingam. You have been bullish on that count earlier on. He has 4,000 shares at a price of 20 rupees per share. He wants to know what to do with Bank of Maharashtra right now.
If it rises further, he can sell, because most PSUs bank in a bear market they trade at a 0.5 to 0.7 times price to adjusted book value. In a bull market they trade around 1 to 1.5 times. Now this bank is little more than 2 times price to book value, and also the credit growth is expected to moderate from 16% in FY24 to 14% for the industry as a whole. That would also have some implication for all the banks. So therefore, if it rises even 3-5%, it's a good sell in my view.
This next query is from Nikhil Sharma. It's on IOC. Kunal, they're holding 1,780 shares at a price of 165 rupees. Should they continue to hold this, look to add more or sell?
I think you can just continue to hold on to the stock. The stock has again come back towards the 50 DMA for itself. I would probably believe that the stock may give maybe a short-term breakout towards the 170, 172 kind of a mark. That could be a point where you may look to book out profits over here. I'm assuming if it's a short-term trade. And then look to buy back in case if the stock dips down to that 150, 155 support zone.
Okay, Century Ply is the counter. This one is coming in from Bindu Dinesh. Wants to know about the stock 10 shares purchased at a price of around 645 rupees per share. Kunal, hold or exit?
I would suggest an exit on the stock. I think it's been an underperforming name, has gone through a correction very recently also, and the charts are not very attractive, so I would suggest an exit.
Okay, on that note, let's get started with the rapid fire format then. And Mr. Chokkalingam, this first query is for you. Long-term outlook on Prince Pipes. Sandeep is holding it at a price of 650 rupees.
Sell.
Alright, this one is coming in from Manjunathan, who wants to know about Jamna Auto. Kunal, does it make sense to buy this one at the current price for a longer term investment?
Yeah, it's been a performing stock, looks attractive at current levels of 128. Would suggest a buy.
Gayatri from Tirupati, Mr. Chokkalingam wants to know on Datamatics holding 33 shares, not mentioned the buy price, but should they continue to hold this?
Sell.
Alright, Kunal Srikanth wants to know about Zomato. Purchase price is 68 rupees per share. What's the target coming in for this one, and should one hold or look to book profits in Zomato right now?
So it's stagnating near the 200 mark, so I would suggest closer to 200 is a good level to book profits.
Kunal, we have Gaurav who wants to know for HAL. They are holding it at a price of 3,033 rupees. For the next 6 months, what should they be doing? Continue to hold it?
Continue to hold on.
Alright, Venkatesh from Indonesia wants to know about Clean Science Technology. 25 shares at a price of 1,390. Mr. Chokkalingam, or rather Kunal, he wants to know whether he should add some more in his portfolio right now.
You can continue to hold on as well as add at current levels.
Mr. Chokkalingam, we have N. Verma who wants to know on Petronet LNG. Bought it at 290 rupees. Continue to hold, sell. What should they do?
Hold for long term.
Alright, Poonam wants to know whether on Uno Minda 625 is the buy price, 50 shares. Should hold on for the short term or exit, Kunal?
Hold on to the stock for the short term trade.
Mr. Chokkalingam, Stovecraft, the viewer has bought it at 500 rupees per share. Continue to hold, sell or add more?
I'm sorry, I have not studied it recently.
Alright, Mr. Chokkalingam, you said that you're bullish on Karnataka Bank. Merlin wants to know whether it makes sense to buy this currently for the longer term then?
Certainly, I would also buy now. Unfortunately, since I covered on channel, I cannot buy. I believe in story. I may be wrong. I am extremely bullish on the stock.
Okay, Mr. Chokkalingam, these are fairly newer ones, Go Digit as well as Indegene. What would you suggest the viewer to do? Parthasarthi wants to know if they can look to enter this.
No, I am not comfortable with the valuation of these stocks.
Alright, with that we come to the end of the rapid fire as well as the query segment. Thank you so much Mr. Chokkalingam as well as Kunal for joining us on the show and taking all of those stock related queries. And viewers, with that we come to the end of this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. It's a goodbye from Vinny, myself and the team that put the show together. Thank you so much for watching.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.